What's up, y'all? This is Mike,
This is Tyrone.
This is Menelik.
This is Hollister.
and welcome back to the podcast. So, I gotta say this. I gotta give Hollister his props. He went 3-0 on the fights. Like he got all of them right. Even though the Max Holloway fight is controversial, but he got all of them right. Aldo got washed. Holloway got jerked. And Usman, we all kind of voted for Usman, but Usman did what he had to do against Masvidal. So I just want to ask you guys' opinion. I'm gonna talk with Tyrone because I know you say you're getting into it now. Like, how do you think about the fights? If you were able to watch it, like how did you feel about that?
Well, first I'm gonna go. I'm gonna talk about the main event because I want to save the Aldo for last. The main event
Nice.
was pretty much a yawn because everybody kind of knew Usman was gonna win. I mean, me, like I was saying last week, I said I can't pick a guy that has 13 losses, so I figured he will. He's more. People were comparing him to like the with the Mayweather style, like more bored. People are more bored. He's more with the groundwork and everything. So kind of expected him to win.
Yeah.
The Holiday fight, unfortunately, I didn't even see it because I kind of dozed off and on. The fight went on pretty late, so I kind of dozed off and on with that fight. So I never really got a good. I can't even talk about that fight really. So, but I heard that the other guy won, and it was a little iffy. So I know about that. But the Aldo fight, that was a good fight up until round three when he started putting Aldo away, and Aldo was pretty fine in 1 and 2, but after round three it was just getting bad, and he was breaking down, and then when round five came and
Mhm.
60 consecutive punches, I think it's even more than that for a guy of his stature.
Yeah.
That's totally wrong. I think that referee should have been fined. He should be suspended. There's no way a fighter should. I've not been watching UFC that long, but I've never seen a fighter take that many punches without the referee stopping it.
They had a couple of times.
Well, like I said, I never seen it.
Yeah.
I don't even have 6 months into consistently watching UFC. I've only
Gotcha.
watched it here and there and stuff. But from what I saw, for a guy like him, I don't think he deserved that. I thought it was really bad,
Yeah.
and yeah, that wasn't good.
That's
I didn't like that.
Yeah. Hollister, you thought about it?
I liked it. The Usman fight. I knew that was gonna go that way because I
Mm.
know Usman is like a all around fighter, so he could like stop any kind of style, like especially the striking style Masvidal has.
Yeah.
But when he got him like in the clinch, I was like it was over pretty much. That was like the whole fight. He had him like that.
Yeah.
Holloway fight. Holloway definitely did get robbed. I was surprised myself that he lost. Even Dana White was saying the judges they got to do something about that because he really did get robbed. He won that whole fight.
Yeah.
And the Aldo fight, Aldo was doing his thing the first 3 rounds, like Tyrone said, and then like the last 2 rounds, that was pretty much it. And the referee was a little carried away with that.
Mm.
Even the referee kept saying fight back, fight back. Aldo was holding his head, and he didn't stop nothing. He waited a pretty long time to stop the fight,
Yeah.
which I don't think was right.
That's crazy. Menelik?
All right, yeah. So yeah, with the Usman and Masvidal fight,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I think Usman did a pretty good job. I mean, he was like for his style, because like I said, I know people are with the wrestling and stuff like that, and it's a little can be boring at times, this and that. But I feel like he used foot stomps. He did some other stuff. He controlled them. He stuck to his game plan, picked his shots on the feet as well. It's the first round was a little more competitive, but after Usman got through that first round, whether
Yeah.
it was from the wrestling or Masvidal saying that maybe with the weight cut and stuff, but even if that was a small factor, I don't think it would have changed how it went overall.
Yeah.
Whether he was tired from the weight cut or Usman putting that pressure on him or a combination of both. But I mean, Masvidal, he came out, he looked alright, but Usman did what he came to do, and yeah, he won like we thought.
Yeah.
Um, as far as the Volkanovski and Holloway, yeah, so Holloway won 1 and 2 unquestionably. Like he won those rounds. And like I was speaking a little bit last time, he made some adjustments from the first fight. You know, he threw more kicks. He dropped him twice, dropped him with a head kick, dropped him with an uppercut. You know, and hey, I'm not trying to take away from Volkanovski. Like he made some adjustments too. Like later in the fight, when he knew he was losing, you know, he did go up to a little more to that takedown approach, but he didn't do much with the takedowns. And granted, you know, Holloway isn't the easiest person to take down, so you know he gets some credit for that. And because you know Holloway is good at using his distance and length and stuff, and he had the reach advantage and stuff. And you know Volkanovski remained in the fight after being down, but I think 1 and 2 undoubtedly. I think, you know, and then out of the other 3 rounds, Max definitely got at least one of those, like probably 3 or 5 maybe, but not. But either way, yeah, I do think Holloway should have won. Like I said, Volkanovski, I guess as the champ, there's a little bit of that, oh, you got to beat the champ kind of thing. The judges probably went into it with that, but even so, I think he still should have got that W. So yeah, it was close-ish, but not enough to where I think, you know, Holloway shouldn't have got that W. And then as far as the Yan and Aldo, yeah. So you know, Yan he ended the first round well, but Aldo was doing his thing at certain points, and like Hollison was saying, like up to like round 3, he did start picking it up a little bit. But then, you know, 4 and 5, Yan did kind of take over. And then, yeah, with that stoppage, I look at it, I guess the referee probably figured because Aldo was a former champ, he wanted to give him that respect and give him all chances possible to, like, come back. But it's like, at the same time, you know, Aldo, somebody probably want to go out on his shield, too. So once he started kind of turtling up and not really fighting back, that's like... could be looked at as kind of like, at this point, like that first, maybe after the first 40 punches, is like,
all right, stop it.
You know,
I need you to bail me out.
Like,
bail me out.
This is probably, yeah, exactly. Bail me out. I ain't trying to, you know, be like, yo, or like have my, but if you, yeah, bail
like
me out.
the punches and stuff. I got you. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say. So yeah, it's like Aldo, he didn't look terrible throughout the whole fight. It's just toward the end, Yan did take over, and then, you know, whatever happened. But yeah, so that was my take on the fight.
I mean, look, I think, to be honest with you guys, I didn't watch the fights, obviously. I did watch some of the highlights afterwards and looked at some of the fights as they were going on, like when somebody on YouTube might stream it real quick before they take it down. And as far as the Petr Yan and Aldo, like we always used to have like a running joke. Like Aldo last pause like 1.5 rounds. After that, his gas tank is finished, and then he start getting tired. And when you get tired in that kind of situation, you start getting sloppy, and then you start getting clipped, and then that's when you start just want to go way out. Now, as far as the punches is concerned, is that there was a guy that they stopped using him called Mario Yamasaki, right? Now he used to always have issues before with the UFC because, like, you know, they're a private contract. They're not part of the UFC. That we might see them a lot, but they are part of their commissions, and they get hired to do their own thing that kind of keep it from being biased. But what happened was that it was these 2 female fighters fighting before, and I forgot the name of them. And one of the girls was getting pummeled, just like how your boy was getting pummeled, and to the point that people was like, oh, "This is bad." Like it was getting quiet in the octagon. It wasn't even quiet because there was no fans. It was quiet because the fans like, "Oh, this girl's getting beat to death, pretty much." And then when they asked her afterwards, like, "Why you didn't start the fight?" He's like, "I wanted to give her a chance to be a warrior." Like, what kind of dumb joint is that? You want to be a warrior and she's dead and she concussed and like have brain damage? It doesn't make sense. So it is up to the referee to stop. And a lot of times the fighters don't want to stop. They want to have this kind of like, you know, like you said, fall on their shield and this Lionheart. Like even when your boy, what's his name, the Lionheart? I forgot if I'm forgetting his who fought John George Washington, something Smith, right? I'm forgetting his name. Whatever, Anthony Smith, right?
Smith, yeah.
So he fought like Glover Teixeira, and Glover Teixeira was beating him up. Now he had like, you know, he got flippers and he got like a bridge in his mouth. So he was talking to his coach, and he's telling his coach in the corner, "Yo, my teeth are falling out." And the coach said, "Man, you be all right, man. Go back out there." So like, these fighters. And then I asked him, like, he was defending his coach, like, "No, man, you knew I need that push." But at the end of the day, that's the whole point of you being on the side. a cornerman. You got to watch the fight. You see your man's getting washed. Either you throw the towel in. A lot of times, cats get in trouble for throwing the towel in, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You saw what happened to your boy Deontay Wilder when his man threw the towel and he was mad at the fact that he did it. But sometimes you got to do it to save the guy to fight another day, right?
Well, I mean, well, with that, we know Tyson Fury.
It's bad. I think.
So there's a little controversy to come out now. We'll get into that when the third fight happens.
All right,
we'll get into that. There's a little controversy because they're starting to say that Tyson Fury's glove tainted. So we'll get into that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, Steve. That's why I don't be. I'm trying to say when people be trying to get on people. Mayweather used to always do that. Wasn't the right thing. Probably got a little cement padding.
Probably looking at December for that.
No. He had no padding. The issue is there's a picture online and there's a YouTube video that shows the imprint of his jab glove, the right hand, because he's southpaw, and he had it on the opposite hand in the first fight. So it's a lot of controversy that's starting to trickle out little by little. And
the thing about it to me that gets me upset about that, sorry to cut you, Tyrone, real quick, is that where are the commission? Don't they have to sign off on the hand wraps and all that stuff like that? So how you gonna sign off on that? And then he gonna cut it off and then put the gloves on without it? Like
not only that.
Go ahead.
Keeps the gloves the day before the fight. See your gloves, you don't even see until you're putting them on. So there's a
That's
lot.
What I'm saying.
The video speaks for itself. I text you the video.
Just let me know. Text me the video because that's gonna be perfect to add to this. But let me get back to the MMA stuff real quick. I hope Deontay Wilder watch them to this day.
We'll talk about that fight when that time comes. We'll get back to the UFC now.
Yeah, when they come closer. So the Max Holloway thing, that's the thing. I'm a biased guy. I like Max Holloway. I think he's a great fighter. I'm nothing against Volkanovski, but I didn't think he did much the first fight to win. And this fight, for what I saw, even the highlights that I saw on ESPN, the highlights that I saw on Bleacher Report, even the part where the person pointed like the first 20 minutes of the fight, like I seen him drop this dude. I see him closing the distance, head kick, all that. So a lot of people were saying, like what you said, Malik, was that he won the first 2 rounds, and then like they said the controversial round is 3. They said it was so close in 3 that it could have gone either way, but a lot of people thought Holloway won that round. As far as, and then the judges, they had it where Volkanovski won like the first round and then lost the second and third, and then he came back and some other like the 5th round. So it was like weird how they did it. And to me, I'm starting to agree with a lot of the fighters. They need to change this 10-point system because that's for boxing. It doesn't really work for MMA. There's so many different caveats, and they need to get other people. Like they said, they wanted to get like other MMA or retired MMA guys to judge these fights because you might watch a fight and as a fan you're gonna be a little bit biased for your guy, but sometimes these judges, they just watching the fight like, all right, he looks like a little bit like that. And that whole beat the champ thing, man, like I agree with you. I used to say that too. And Ariel Helwani made a good point. He was like, yo, man, what do you mean? It's like beat the champ. It's like that's dumb. It's like you're fighting. Like you gotta go based on what it is. It's like it's not about championship rounds and you gotta beat the champ. If I'm winning on the stats, I'm winning.
Go beat the
It don't matter like at that point. So I can kind of understand the argument, and I do understand the argument of beating the champion. You can't come in there and like pussyfoot and like kick somebody and then run around the ring and think because you got the hit and you being shook that you're gonna win. At that point, then I agree. You got to go out there and like dominate. But if it's like a close fight, just be honest and be fair. So that's how I looked at it for the Holloway thing. And I heard that Dana White was like, it's not crazy to have an immediate third fight because he felt that he got jerked. Because what you gonna really do with Max? Gonna have him fight Brian Ortega and one of those guys again just to get back up to the top. So it will hold up the division, and it is kind of weird to see people fight 3 times in a row, especially seeing that Max technically lost 2 times to Volkanovski, but they're going to try to do that. Now, as far as the Usman fight and Masvidal, I had a feeling that could have happened. Now, Masvidal is a great fighter. He's been fighting for a long time, right? Despite what Tom said with the double. But at the end of the day, been like a 50-50 fighter. Like this year, 2019 was his year. He came out there, he washed Darren Till. Then he beat Ben Askren in that fashion he did. Then he beat Nate Diaz. So he had like that momentum, and he had the whole gimmick as being like this kind of, baptism by fire type of thing. And he wanted to baptize cats and he's street Jesus and all this kind of crap that they wanted to call him. So now he brought his stock up because they actually broke records over Conor and Khabib for that fight. So they looking at him like, yo, he's a big star, so he deserved that bread. So I'm happy for him. But at the same time, the thing with Usman, a lot of people don't like Usman because Usman, first of all, he's a good fighter. He wrestles a lot. And at the fact he don't really have that charismatic kind of like persona. A lot of people see him like being like kind of fake because you see it's like when you see, and no disrespect to them, but you see like one of your friends from Africa or something like that who might have grew up in the States or come in and he trying to act like he all hip hop and like, yeah man, well, you know, they're my brother and 50 Cent, you know, kind of crap like that. So that's what they was calling like, you know, this LL Cool J type of person. Now the foot stomps, they do stuff. Grandpa, and that's not the entertaining type of style of fight. So a lot of people are not going to like that. They want to see them slugfest because they were mad at each other. And like I told y'all before, wrestling always are the kryptonite to strikers. Unless you like a striker who can like get your stuff off way before the guy can close the distance. If the guy's a strong wrestler, got a good chin, it's 9 times out of 10 you won't get washed. And don't get me wrong, Masvidal stopped a lot of his takedowns and stopped a lot of those positions. But the problem is that when you're doing that for such a long period of time, you're gonna get mad tired, and it's gonna be like, you know, you ain't gonna really get the let off because you think I throw a kick or I throw a punch, he gonna shoot in and catch me. Now, as far as this excuse, and last time they were saying like Masvidal had a win-win situation. He fight, he loses, right? All right. He had 6 days notice. They're making it like he come off the couch. If he won, he the man. He came out there, beat the dude in 6 days notice, and he the man. So he didn't have no issue. Like Usman had to win, right? Now with Masvidal, he been training for a long time to fight him. But granted, you know, if you think Burns gonna get the fight, you're gonna dial it back. You ain't gonna train as hard. So the weight cut could have been an issue. But at the end of the day, it wasn't like he wasn't training. The guy was training. So I kind of don't like the fact that they're trying to like, oh, he wasn't training, and the man came out of there in 6 days, and if he had a full camp, he'd be able to do this. It could have been that, or they could have been the same. But I'm happy that Usman won. I hope that, you know, people stop just hating on like, you know, the fact that he might not be the most entertaining fight. Y'all love GSP. GSP do the same thing, right? But because it's Usman, y'all hating on him. So now he want to fight GSP now. Let's get off of that. I don't know why people want to fight GSP. GSP haven't fought in like years, and he ain't that nice to be like, I want to fight GSP. You know what I mean? So it's getting kind of crazy. But that's my take on that. And if y'all have anything else to say, we can talk about it. If not, we can jump to the next topic.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, I understand what you're saying with that, and I do think people do need to give Usman his credit and do, because like as much as he is, I'm not denying his style is not as exciting as a Masvidal style, but at the same time, he's not like the most boring kind of wrestler. He does try to do different things, mix it up, and I mean he had,
when he fought Kobe was dope.
Yeah, and he has been successful, and I think it's kind of like a little bit to what Tyron was saying. Like I feel like if he keeps it up, cause similar to some of the criticism with Mayweather, he'll get his due and respect. He keep winning, keep dominating, and
so you gotta do is keep winning, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you'll be all right. I think
people
Burns
complain
make it a little bit better.
People complain, oh, Mayweather, it's boring. It's boring because he's always winning and you can't beat him. And that's the problems with some of these fans. The fans get turned off when you're winning too much. It's a lot of haters.
Yeah, and then, like you have fans like Lucas.
I like to see.
Go ahead.
Well, oh, he's a Mayweather.
Yeah, he ain't so like I could fight Mayweather. He'll root for me. He, like a cab driver could fight Mayweather. He just wanted. He said, "Man, I want to see Mayweather lose because he's just so good." It's like people that's the weirdest logic to me. Like you want to see somebody lose because that's stupid to me.
That's pretty much how he is towards me in the fantasy. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he hates on me because I always win.
Gosh.
That's not the way you should be.
And speaking of people who always win and people hate on, let's talk about the New England Patriots getting Cam Newton. You know, I can't stand them. However, I am happy for Cam, and I hope that he really does well. And even if they win a Super Bowl, that'll be the only time, and I know it's blasphemous as a Giants fan, that I will root for them to win if the Giants don't make it, because I want Cam to have this redemption tour, and I want him to be healthy. I want him to dominate, because the way the Carolina Panthers did him dirty, man, it's like it doesn't sit well with me. What are y'all takes on that?
Yeah, I also definitely feel like I want him to go in there and, you know, prove himself. Like he's a a really big talent. It's just he's been unfortunate with the injuries, and I know because it's related to the shoulders and things like that. As a quarterback, people have really counted him out, but it's like what he's done, and how hard he works. I definitely just want to see him get out there, be healthy, and show people he still got some stuff left in the tank. And to do it there would be a big deal because, to follow up Tom Brady, anybody who's following him up, regardless of the situation, was going to get a lot of attention.
Facts.
It being Cam Newton, a former league MVP, So, and it's like a perfect scenario if he can maintain his health and put on and do what he can do.
Yeah.
It's a perfect opportunity to show people and prove people wrong, prove people that he still got it, and then get a better contract afterwards, something that he more so deserves. So,
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna do good, but I'm also worried about him and Belichick. Cam Newton is a flashy guy. Belichick, cool, calm, and laid back and quiet. But also, they gotta get some more weapons for him as well too, and that's gonna be a big factor. And then hopefully he stays healthy. And I think this might be like a 1 year. He proved himself, and I think he's gonna end up leaving the organization. I don't think he's gonna stay long term.
I think so too, because he's gonna be too expensive.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not gonna want to pay him a certain kind of money, especially too, like you said, he might not even fully mesh with the
Belichick
the culture there, and the Belichick and stuff. I mean, we'll see. But I mean, granted, too, winning can sometimes allow people to overlook whatever or make people get along. But we'll see. But yeah, I don't see it as more of a long-term thing. But yeah, you go ahead, Tom.
Go ahead, Tom.
I don't know what y'all talking about Cam and Flash. Have y'all ever heard of Rob Gronkowski?
That's what I was about to say.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I don't think Flashy is going to be a problem. With
the media and stuff like that.
No.
I mean,
Belichick doesn't care about the media as long as you're not telling inside business.
Yeah, like how they
fine.
Balls and like
all that arguing with the media. Belichick doesn't care about that. You see how he talks to the media.
Yeah.
So, but I think he'll be fine as long as he's healthy. Anytime Cam Newton's healthy, he's a big player. He's a very good superstar. But his problem is injuries, and he has been on the short end of some bad officiating. He's been one of the most unprotected quarterbacks in history. I've seen shots that they would kick you out the game for if it was on Brady or Peyton Manning. I've seen Cam take shots that no other quarterback takes. I don't know what the issue is, but outside of that, outside of that, if Cam Newton's healthy, you could book it going to the playoffs at least.
Yeah.
So, and with Belichick behind him, I think it'll work very well. Cam Newton's not a bad teammate. It's just, things come out in the media with him. But as far as like a teammate, you never hear people have issues with Cam Newton. So I don't think Belichick and him will have an issue. I think it'll work. It's a 1 year deal. It's more like a motivational year for him. Like he got a chip on his shoulder. He could come out, present himself, show that he still has something left, and he can go out there and get another 2-3 year deal and see where he goes from there. Maybe he even stays there. You never know. It might work where he stays.
I agree, man. And
but I like.
True.
No, I was going to say I like the signing, and I'm happy for him too because I think he should have been signed somewhere. And it's good that I think the Patriots got lucky because they could have just went in with the backup that they have now, and they'll be talking about the Patriots as the fourth best team in the NFC East or AFC East or third place. So now Cam shoots them back into playoff contention.
Yeah, and I agree, man. I think, like, to your point, man, and like I said, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm now trying to get back into football and stuff like that. But I think what happened with that whole situation is, like, you have to look at it, like you said, like, Cam got no help as far as the referee's concerned. And to be honest with you, we already know the quarterback is viewed as the leader of the team, and the ideal quarterback in the NFL and most of the NFL fan base is a white person. So I hate to bring it back to that, but you know, as far as being progressive, the NFL is the least progressive out of all the sports as far as like racial things is concerned. So what happened with them is that they looked at it from that perspective, like, yo, he a big guy, he 265 pounds, he can handle it, he can take. We don't got to worry about protecting them per se, as if like a Peyton Manning and like Drew Brees or some other guys. They will go ham to protect Cam, not to protect Cam, and obviously he was the main offense in Carolina, so he had to do a lot. So to me, it's messed up that for them to do him dirty like that, don't put him on the GOAT list for their team, and then to release him at the time when they release him so nobody else can get him. It makes it very difficult for me. So I'm glad that he's going to come out, and I hope he dominates, and I hope if they do play the Carolina Panthers, he destroys them. And with Belichick, the reason why I like him because he used to be, a Giants coach, and he used to also like his mind is great. So even though he be cheating, what I'm saying, like the system, it works. So they're like plug and play pieces. Like you can take somebody else, as long as they have a certain skill set, they tailor make it to that skill set, and they always seem to be relatively successful. So
But
I think
that's
they're
how
good.
all. Sorry, that's how these organizations should run.
Yeah.
The way that's why they call it the Patriot way.
Yeah.
I hate them, but they are the best run franchise in the league for the past 20 years.
I can't front, man.
I don't know why teams don't mimic it more often.
No,
I see my 49ers are kind of doing it, but they've been in it like a couple of years now. It's not really been that long, but they're kind of just plugging players in too. We don't have any big time superstars.
I think it's all like organization, like you said, organizational, and it's also like the owners getting out of the way of the people. Like, for instance, you have the Washington Redskin owner who always getting in the way of the stuff. Then you got, you got the Joneses getting in the way of some of their things, and you got Crafty stays to the side, let the man handle his things, even though he got his own issues he got to deal with. But it's the same thing in some teams in the NBA where the owner, like James Dolan, get in the way of the organization. Even though he kind of stay away, but you kind of shun people away. So what happens is that with the Patriots, they knew that when they got Belichick as their head coach, that whatever he says, they rely on him. When it comes to football, let the man handle it, let him do it. Now, granted, I write the checks if I'm the owner, but I trust him enough to know that whatever he's going to do, however he's going to present it, I trust them. And the way they get guys like, all right, this guy, he was, undrafted, but he got a certain set of skill set. I'm going to utilize him. Make sure he knows how he has to do. Like everybody does their job well. The problem is that you got a lot of teams that got a lot of talent, and the guys trying to do stuff above and beyond what they need to do, but nobody want to fit in that role. And that's a lot of times you don't have winning teams. Like we watched The Last Dance, you saw how the Bulls was designed. Like everybody had a role to play, and as long as they stuck to that role, the machine kept running. But when you try to do something outside of that role, and you messed it up, and you can become like a problem in that whole well-oiled machine. So we should see. I mean, like I said, I ain't room for them to win like that. But I want him to be successful. So it's like a kind of caveat where it's like, I want him to do well and make the team go to the playoffs. And if he can go to like one of those Super Bowl games, I'll be happy for him. But at the end of the day, the Giants ain't going nowhere no time soon. So I'm gonna say that, to be honest with you. But at the same time, that'll be the only time I'll root for them. But yeah, so back to the bubble as we were talking about the other day. Now it's starting to get real. The players are there now. They're having practices. Unfortunately, Zion had to leave, and I think Harold had to leave for family emergencies. Hopefully, their family's okay. But they've been going along. A lot of stuff going on with this whole bubble snitch hotline, and people have mixed feelings about it. I'm gonna give my take afterwards, but I want to get you guys' take on it. So, don't let me think about it.
All right. So, as far as the whole snitch hotline and the bubble and all that, I mean, I look at it like this. Like on the one hand, right, I understand some people feel like somebody telling on me, or they doing this, or people being petty, or they doing this and they doing that, right? And I could understand it a little bit, but then on the flip side, you gotta look at it like this too. Like there's a lot of people, players, and other people sacrificing a lot to be in the bubble, to play. They staying away, from their families. They doing this, they doing that. they making a lot of sacrifices to do this, to try and have the actual thing be completed, which was something we were talking concern about last week, right? And you know, if I'm like, it's not the exact same situation, but you know, and they're not playing, but like Karl Anthony Towns, right? How he lost his mom to COVID, right? You know, if I was a player, you know, especially if I have like real world impact to it, you know, I just want people to make sure everybody's taking it serious, because there's always going to be that person that thinks something is not a big deal. It's kind of like, not for nothing, Rudy Gobert beforehand, right? He was on some making light of it, joking around, doing this, doing that, right? And he got it, and he gave it to, you know, Donovan Mitchell, whatever. And it's like, what if, you know, Donovan Mitchell's family got sick or he died? Like, not to be like all dramatic about it, but like, him just taking it not that serious that one time led to somebody he know actually having a disease that could have led to something else. So if I'm a player who I'm sacrificing a lot, or I might, you know, have certain issues, I'm going to take it a certain level of serious. Now, what it should be is all the players should just have that kind of respect for each other in the situation and be like, yo, let's all just hold each other accountable in an open way. Like, if everybody see the white not wearing a mask, they should be like, yo, the white, you wilding, like, oh, what's going on? Or, yo, bro, put your mask on, or something like that. And it don't have to be a like, oh, all right, I'm gonna go call, you know, I don't know, this coach or this line or this do this, and then they're gonna reprimand you. But honestly, it probably won't happen the other way, so they have that so that people could be held accountable. Once again, I don't know if it's the best way to go about it, but I understand the reason why they feel the need to have it in place. Yeah, I guess that's my initial kind of take or feelings on it.
Yeah, I got you. Tyron, just to let you know, I had to mute you because you're getting a lot of feedback. But Hollister, if you want to go, you can go ahead.
The whole bubble situation with the petty, the hotline, the petty line, whatever they call it, I think it's comical, because it's like these are grown men making millions of dollars. They left their families to go to a bubble. They trying to have some kind of freedom while they're there, you know, and do what they need to do to keep themselves occupied. But then also too, I get they gotta, you know, protect themselves and everybody else. But you got guys calling to sabotage the teams or potentially whatever else more they trying to sabotage. It's just a funny situation. Snitching on people. Oh, this person's not doing this. Like some of the players going outside to get Postmates or Uber Eats. It's a lot with that whole NBA situation with that. I don't know what else they're gonna do next.
Yeah, they're definitely entertaining.
Yeah, this is a joke. A snitch hotline. When I first heard of it, I was like, they're not serious about this. So now we're in the business of tattling on people that's wearing. Isn't the bubble supposed to be everybody that was tested and
COVID free? Yeah,
COVID free. So what is the issue with somebody walking out their hotel room with? I mean, if aren't they gonna go play basketball with no mask on? So if they're standing outside their hotel, is it a big deal? Now, the kid on Sacramento going outside the resort to get that I understand, because now
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
I understand that. I understand that situation, but poor Dwight Howard, it's already bad enough nobody showed up to his pool party that he was throwing the other day. Ain't show up to his pool party. Now y'all gonna rat him out because he ain't have a mask on? Like, come on, cut the guy some slack. He already had anal surgery last season. Like, he had like a butt issue. He had a lot of tough times, man. Like, it's been a little tough for Dwight these days now. You gotta cut him some slack, man.
But that's the problem. Too much slackness. You see, the thing is that what you got to understand, and this is when I look at it. Hold on one second.
But before he comes back on, I'll just finish with I think it's okay if people are doing things like what Rudy Gobert was doing, like clowning around, making fun. I could see the hotline being used for that, but to tell on someone that's not wearing a mask outside of their hotel room, come on now, you're gonna tell on him when he's on the court, like I just said before, like everybody's gonna play basketball with no mask on. So I get it. I get it for certain things. Just don't make a joke out of it. Don't. Hey, I saw LeBron James brushing his teeth this morning. He didn't put his mask back on after. Like, it just when it
Yeah.
becomes silly, that's what I'm worried about. It becoming silly.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent, but I look at it like this. But the whole thing is proven with wearing a mask, especially in public places, to help mitigate the thing. Now the issue is with the white not wearing a mask outside of his hotel room, and I get it. Like you're trying to confine it and mitigate the issue as best as you can. Now you have people, the Disney workers, who are not staying in the bubble, who coming in and out. You never know what can happen because the virus is aerosol, so you know what I mean. So you can get it through the air and breathing in certain air. So you want to try to keep people at a minimum. Now, granted, I do agree with you. They are going to be playing ball. The same thing with the UFC. With them guys on the UFC, when they come into that bubble or they go into Fight Island or they come into the Apex and they get tested, they got to wear their mask in public places. They can't not wear their mask. They have to wear it. When they go in the octagon and they fight, they don't have to wear it. Even the cornermen who are in the background, they have to make sure that they wear their mask while they're cornering. Some of the announcers wearing their masks because you just don't know. Some people could be asymptomatic. Some different things could go on. So you try to kind of stop that. Now, as far as the snitch hotline, like for somebody like Rudy Gobert to complain about it and to say it's petty, he has no right to say that. You a fool who got the league shut down early, even though they probably would have shut down still. But you out there touching people's phones and cameras and you licking
Playing
stuff,
around,
and getting people sick. Like to Melik's point, you got Donovan Mitchell saying, what if Donovan Mitchell has some hidden issue that we didn't know about, and God forbid he passed or somebody's family passed, like how Karl Anthony Towns' mom had passed. May she rest in peace. That's now you bring it into a different level. So it's not about like he got me the chicken pox and I can't play. This is something that's life or death. We still don't understand this virus. The man, Rudy Gobert, just recently got his sense of smell back, and look how long he had the virus, and he was quote unquote cleared from it. So there's certain elements that we don't know. So to me, I look at it like you said, it is an important line to have. It will get to a point where it start getting really petty, where people gonna say, I saw LeBron, he was shaking the bus driver's hand and then he licked it. So I don't know, he should be playing next game. It might get to a point where they start doing some ignorant joint like that. But at the same time, you want to try to keep the bubble contained. If you don't do that, that's when it has an issue. If you watch all those movies that had any kind of like Resident Evil or something like that, even the whole pandemic that we have now is because it didn't stay contained in Wuhan where it was supposed to stay. People traveling without knowing or traveling and knew they were sick, and that's how we have this whole spread around the world. So you try to stop it. So in the bubble, you can't be trying to Uber eat McDonald's to the hotel. Just eat the joint that they bring you. The food ain't that bad. Just eat that joint.
Listen,
That's got more money just for like a couple of months. Like I don't get.
I've been to
really don't.
I've been to Disney World in Florida twice. The food is pretty good. It's nothing wrong with the food. I don't know why they even ordering food out.
Because the place used to eating all of the expensive food. That's why.
Listen,
They
y'all,
like to go and
they got to understand this. I forgot what kid it was on in the league, but he said it. He's like, listen, man, this ain't nothing. Like all of these NBA players.
Oh yeah,
grew
John
up
Morant,
poor.
I think. Yeah.
John Morant,
Yeah.
Like one of them, like a lot of them grew up poor. Like you've been through this before. You should be able to handle it. Like, come on now, this is not.
Yeah, he was saying something like,
You're not gonna get
noodles, this, that,
like, come on, like you're not gonna have filet mignon all every night. Just get over it.
Giannis said he has no problem with the small space. He said he grew up with all his siblings in one room. He said this is nothing to him. Kemba Walker said the same thing.
And he's pretty young, so Morant not too far away from this. So it's just the more established guys that's probably
just go do your job and that's it.
And like you have to understand, like people got to weigh the options, right? Now I know a lot of people might think it's unnecessary to have sports. No, don't get me wrong. For selfish reasons, I'm beasting to watch basketball, and I'm hoping that Zion gets back in time to quarantine so he can play the first game that they're supposed to have against the Jazz. However, at the end of the day, it's bigger than just one individual. When you look at it, as far as the money part of it, where you have to make sure you get the money and keep the season going, don't try to do no fast funds on y'all. That's important. Then also you have to look at it from the perspective like this is trying to save somebody's life. You're trying to play ball. You want to hoop, right? Do the right thing. Like take it seriously. Like, all right, you can't have your back rubbed or go in your nice little jacuzzi tub and look at the ocean view because you're in the Disney World Resort. So what? You're playing ball. Just go there. It's only for a few months. That's what I don't understand with some of these players. It's like,
In fairness to them,
yeah,
in fairness to them, when you said only a few months, that's a long time. Like I will say that you can't say only a few months because
that.
people usually go to Disney World for a week and a half. You ain't gonna be there for 3 months like they are. So I could understand your argument for now, but when it's September and it's dragging on, you're gonna see a little more frustration with some of these players, and that's when you're gonna see the real toughness and mental.
They're away
toughness.
from their lifestyle, their accustomed
Yeah.
living.
So
No,
I
but
wouldn't
get
use
that, but you have to look at the bigger picture.
I wouldn't use the word. I wouldn't use the term only a few months because that could be a long time for anybody, even us. I will admit, I if I was an NBA player, I would not have. I would have opted out, even if I was
Yep.
not financially safe. I don't
Mm.
think mentally I would want to do that. Not saying I'm not strong enough mentally. It's when you have a family, it's
Yeah.
different. If you had no children or a woman or wife, that's one thing. But if you have a family, I don't think I could be away from them for 3 months in a row like that. I
But I
barely
think
could do
they'll
it
be
for a
able to come
weekend
in. They
sometimes.
said they'll let the families come in soon. But what I'm saying,
In
yeah,
the second round, the teams that get to the second round of playoffs.
that's what I'm saying is when they can
That's
clear out.
tricky.
My thing is this, right?
That's a little tricky too.
You got to look at it from the financial. Like, if I'm in the NBA, right? I probably would have opted in depending on the situation, especially if I trusted that the bubble was, really tight. You know what I'm saying? And my team would probably be in the playoffs by the win the chip because I'd have been a star player if I was in the league. But that's not. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at it from this perspective.
You serious right now?
My job, right, is to provide for my family, right? And I get it. You're not getting paid. Some people don't need the money. I get all that. What I'm saying is that we're going to decide for the future of the NBA and my future salary and my future checks. Do we have to make these sacrifices? Now, most of these players, right, a good 80 to 90% of these players didn't grow up with a silver spoon or had an NBA pops like a Steph Curry and other cats like that. They didn't have that. Klay Thompson, them cats. They didn't have nothing like that. So what I'm saying is that they grew up having to struggle in a sense. And to be honest with you, this is not a struggle. You get all your meals for you provided for you. You eat whenever you want to. You have your not whatever you want to, but within a certain confines of the time. You get to still chill. You get to do some things on the premises, right? It's not your house. I get it, but at the end of the day, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. Especially family coming out, it's not that serious. I'm sorry. They OD.
They're gonna be in a hotel resort for months. It's that serious.
It's not like to say they're in a Holiday Inn in a small room. They're in a resort. I've been to that.
I love the Disney World.
Wasn't Dame or somebody in a presidential suite or something like that?
Listen,
I said like Dame or somebody. They said one of them was in like a presidential suite or something. Not saying once again, I do understand somewhat what you're saying that it is a sacrifice. It is an accommodation, but somewhat to what Michael's saying though too is like as a country nation, we in a pandemic too. So you got people who sacrificing where they literally can't work or make money even if they want to.
No, I get that.
They worried about their meals, their rent, their this, their that, so on.
No,
so I think Michael's speaking a little bit more to the fact
I totally understand that because I'm not comparing it to. I'm just not comparing it to that. What I'm saying is, you can't say only a few months. Like these guys, yes, they're rich, they're famous. A lot of them have a lot of money. They're used to high maintenance and they're not going to get it. That's not my argument towards them. My argument towards them is normal life, the normal lifestyle they have. Yeah, I get that. And also, I think that being away from family, listen, you could put any one of us, you could be rich or poor, and put us in that environment, and we will still have an issue. You can't just say only 3 months because
I'm not talking about the family part. I get that, but what I'm saying is that, like Puff said, or Hollis said earlier, right? My bad. It's like he was like, "Yo, after the second round, right? Because after this first 8 games,
no. I know
they're gonna get the family in there. So I get what you're saying. So that's for instance, like let's say the Nets, my Nets, right? Hollis and Oz Nets, right? They probably gonna get bumped first round. Let's be honest. They ain't got nobody on the team. They're gonna get bumped, right? They gonna be home before the middle of August, probably, right?
I know.
So what I'm saying is that I get what you're saying.
I was getting ready. I was
Go ahead.
getting ready to bring that stuff up.
Yeah.
About not every team will be there for 3 months, but some will.
Yeah, and their families will be there.
Some will. But
be there. That's what I'm saying.
You got to understand, not everybody will be able to, because you don't know. Schools may open back. Kids can't. They may not be able to bring family there. It's starting to be an issue now where Florida is the epicenter of this thing. So, do you even want to bring your family to the state in general just to come into a bubble for a few months?
And that's what I'm saying. So I get all of that. So what I'm saying is that my thing is this, right? I look at it from no, hear me out. My brother-in-law.
Wait, no, hold on. Listen, Mike. You just want to see basketball.
No, even so, don't get me wrong. I want to watch it. I wouldn't care.
You just said it.
Hear me out. I get what you're saying.
Let me just get this. Let me just little joke. Let me get this little joke out though with you.
All right, go ahead.
You just want to see basketball. You just want them to shut up and play some TV on Friday night. That's all.
No. Honestly, not really, because you know me already. I'm all for the players having their own rights and doing whatever they want to do. I'm all for it. But my thing is this, right?
I can hear the excitement in your voice.
Right. My thing is about it is like this, right? It's like no, don't get me wrong, but it's certain players they won't be there that I don't want to watch it. But my thing is this, right? My fans,
don't worry,
right?
Zion's coming back.
Yeah. You look at it like this, right? My brother-in-law, right? He's in the military, right? He is a lieutenant colonel, whatever his rank is, no disrespect to him, right? Now, when he was deployed for a year from his newborn child in Afghanistan. Lord knows what could have happened to him. Thank God he came back okay, right? So what I'm saying is that he knows. Now, he has no choice. In the military, you got no choice. You can't say, I ain't going to no bubble over there.
You know what's crazy?
Right?
I've always had issues with that, too. That's why I'm defending the situation, this situation here, because I didn't even think to bring that up. I'm glad you did, but I've always had issue with that. Like, I think there should be extra leeway for people with families, but that's just my opinion. It's my opinion.
No, you're right to it. I'm just saying they do have leeway where you can get your vacation and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is this, right? Here it is that this man is sacrificing, putting his life on the line, the same way how these players putting their life on the line with the coronavirus, right? For his family and for his country, right? As far as America, right? So he's doing that, and he's away for a year for his whole family, and sometimes even a little bit more on a deployment. What I'm saying is, and he is not in no hotel where they giving him food and all that. He on a base, sometimes
exactly.
in barracks.
100% understand that.
Like 90 degrees, bottle of water is cool to them because it's so hot over there, and all this other stuff, right? So what I'm saying is that the NBA players,
totally understand,
excluding the family aspect of it, you cannot drive your Ferrari down the street for the weekend, or you cannot go get your pedicure done, or go to your hyperbolic chamber room and get yourself your ice baths, whatever, right?
But you got it.
You can't do that. You can't go to your family
remember
with your friends. I get all of that. What I'm trying to say that if the mission is to finish the season, if the mission is to make sure that the owners don't try to pull a fast one to take away your money, if that's the mission, then you have to be all in and focused. That's why I agree with that. Now, for instance, I'm not trying to say to shut up and play, but if you're going to be all in, committed to playing bubble, you got to follow the rules of the bubble.
That was a joke. That was a joke because I know how fiending you want to watch.
No. I'm not trying to say like that because some people think like some people think like that. Like, oh, they're complaining because they can't do this different. All right, you got to eat cup of soup. You got to eat like the instant macaroni and cheese. I've been doing that for years. You know what I'm saying?
So
what I'm trying to say is that you're gonna be all right.
The mission is to finish the season. The mission is to make sure y'all get that $900 million from that TV deal. That's the real mission with the NBA.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's the real mission.
So they don't pull a fast one. That's the only reason. Money. That's what I mean. It's like that's the whole goal. If that's the goal of the whole joint, and you commit to the season, then you got to deal with the goal. Wear your freaking mask.
That's the goal.
The white.
That's the goal for the. That's the goals. That's the goals for the owners. I'm against it. I don't even want the restart anyway. But I want.
I hear you.
Like I said, I want. I think all of this, because now you're going to try to get hundreds of players to do things they're not normally capable of doing, and that they normally don't do. It's not easy. See, the military. Not comparing the two, but it's organized for this kind of stuff. These guys are just jumping into this all of a sudden. So
you broke up a little bit, but when I'm
get offended,
it's kind of like similar to what they're going through right now. They get put up in them AAU camps, they chilling. The difference is now that these guys got multi-million dollars, they got their own space. They don't get me wrong, it's nothing better than being in your comfort of your own home. Even when Charity and I go on vacation and we went away to the islands, as beautiful as the islands is, and watching the beach and chilling. Yes, we miss Savannah, we miss our family. You know what I'm saying? We want to be in my
And you
own
miss
bed.
your,
I miss my
and that's exactly what the
I
argument.
get
And
that,
that's
but
the
what I'm saying
that's
is
the
if I
argument.
had
That's
to do
the
it,
that's
I
the
had no
argument I'm
choice.
trying to. That's the argument I'm trying to make for the players. You just said it right there. You
I'll
could
do
go on a vacation for a week, and you're already missing your normal. Now imagine trying to do that for months. That's why when you my debate
I
with
get
you
that.
was when you said, "Oh, it's only a couple of months." It's never what you're saying and how everything you brought up. I don't have no issue with it. It's just when you said only a few
Yeah, but
months. You can't say only
The reason why I'm
like
saying only,
months. Sometimes even is a lot.
no, I get it. The reason why I'm saying only a few months is this. This is the reason why, right? Now it's like you said, like for instance, like we all work, right? Now we got to go back to work. Like I got to go back to work. You've been working. Hollis been working. As far as going back into your office and your space, while Malik and I have been working remotely, right? Now you have to look at it from this perspective, right? You have to go in, right, to do your job, and you have to do it for your family. If you don't go in, you have to. Now, don't get me wrong. You'd rather be home to be safe, to be with your family and keep them safe, right? So what
Yeah.
I'm saying is this, right? I get the fact that is what it is. You when I go on vacation, like when I go on vacation, I might miss Savannah the first couple of nights, right? Because she's not there. But I already know that I'm here for this week, and I'm going to see her, God willing, when I get back. So what I'm saying is that I'm not trying to discredit it. It's only be a few months, but the most of the complaints from the players were making fun of the food, making fun of the fact that they had to stay in this room and all this other stuff like that. That's what they were doing. They weren't complaining about, oh, I miss my family and I want to be able to do this and that. They're not doing that. So what I'm saying is that to me personally, right? If you all signed up and said, "Oh, was LeBron James going to get in? The King playing? You all playing? We hoopers? Y'all all doing that, right?" And you know what it is. So you should not go in there talking about, "Oh, I can't do it. I gotta wear a mask. I can't play ping pong." It's like, yo, my thing is that you already know. So what I'm trying to say, you already came in with the mindset you're gonna do it. So if you make that commitment, just like how the military cats get deployed, I know I'm getting deployed, right? I know I got to deal with it, so I have to deal with it for that to wrap your mind around it, right? These cats be deployed for years on end. What I'm saying is that for the little, they're not even losing that much creature comfort. They got the whole oasis of the Florida. I've been to the Grand Floridian. I've been there. That joint is fire. Now, granted, it ain't gonna be like the W or some higher ball that they might be doing in their vacation. But you in the Grand Floridian, you have more than enough space for you and your fam when they come. You got the food. You got the food delivered to your door. You could use all the resources pretty much that you can. Right? You could play golf. You could do different things like that. You go, you practice with your teammates. You joke around. You play your video games. I get it. It's not the same, right? But it's not as bad as they making it out to be, and it's not as bad to say that. Oh, this is like so much for me to be doing.
You have to also remember, not players like being around teammates all the time. And that's what they have to do. Like, I don't like being around my coworkers all the time. Like, if I had to be around them for 12, 14 hours in a work shift, I'm annoyed. I'm tired of seeing them. You got to understand that too. Not every one of these, not every player on the team.
But they're not around them
to deal with it.
They chilling in their own room.
They are.
Son, they chilling. You cannot be around a person.
They're gonna be in a resort. They're gonna be in a resort with the same.
Yeah. But you go in your room. You know what I'm saying? You go a different place in a resort if the person's there.
Listen,
and set you for practice.
You're saying go in the room. You act like the room has all the rides like it's a theme park in the room.
Right, you go to the ride. You see the cat at the Mickey Mouse ride. Go to the I'm saying is that imagine the military base.
Listen,
your bottom bunk. Siri told me. I'll give you a quick story. Siri told me right before he got out of the Navy, right? Now he said one time he got bunked up with this racist cat, right? So he in the base, he with the racist cat, right? And him and the cat had beef, right? So he had the bottom bunk. Siri said he came home early from doing like one of his things. He see his roommate, the white kid, on his bed jerking off on his bed. So Siri had to yoke him up, and the cat ran in the bathroom, pause and all that, right? Ran in the bathroom.
You're gonna edit.
I'm gonna edit it in a way. But I'm just saying, right? He on there, believe in himself, if you will, right?
Edit that story,
And
okay?
so we had to yoke him up for that. So what I'm saying is that imagine you got to deal with a racist cat.
But I wouldn't compare. I wouldn't compare the military
Point.
with this, because the military, that's a whole nother level. I wouldn't even put that. I wouldn't even put the NBA in this conversation with the military. That's a whole nother level. That's not even a fair
Right,
comparison.
But the reason why I'm
Because
saying it's kind of like a
mili-
comparison because, like,
military does
consider
have it
this
tougher.
a deployment for them. They got deployed to this bubble, right? They got limited resources as far as what they're accustomed to, as far as their home stuff that they use, their cars, their home gyms, their own facility. And I get all of that.
Yeah.
Nothing
I'm a-
beats the comfort of your own home. I get
I'm
that.
gonna help.
But still, you know what I'm saying? You can find ways.
And you probably hold on.
No, go ahead.
To help your argument, and you probably could have said this, and why didn't they just opt out? If they don't like it, go home.
Well, I was gonna say that in a second.
Yeah.
That
Plain and
it's
simple.
two things I think make it different is that they chose to opt in, so they had to know that there was gonna be a certain level of sacrifice by them opting in, and
Right.
also I feel like they
Right.
could complain about some of the stuff. I think what affects it a lot is them doing it publicly and in a certain kind of way. So it's within reason. So it's one thing to be like, let's say they talk to the NBA like, look, as players, we feel we need a little more than this Velveeta mac and cheese, or this blanket could only cover half my body. I'm 6'9" or something like that. You could holler at them and let them know, like, yo, look, I feel like, this food, I ain't gonna be able to sustain myself on this for 6 months. And I think some of the changes already are supposed to be happening. Like, from what I heard, that the food is not gonna be like that the whole time. Later on, I think the Rockets owner, he has some business that does something with food related. So they're gonna have restaurant level food later on, and somebody else too. Like, so it's not going to be where they literally eating ramen noodles and this, that, and the third. And who knows if it was fully planned before or if it was a result of some of the feedback from the players. So they could, speak to some stuff, but I feel like at a time where everybody is kind of sacrificing, everybody's going through stuff, and I know it's a little different. It just would be better in a sense, I guess, or it will be received easier if they didn't complain as publicly. And I feel like, especially to something that you opted into, obviously some of them are opting into it for certain reasons. There's pressure, this, that, and the third, but they are opting into it. They opted into it. They knew there would be some level of sacrifice. And with everything that's going on, complaining publicly like that about things that for a lot of people right now is just going to seem really trivial. Even though there's real elements too. I'm not saying they're not sacrificing some. I'm not saying it's not going to be comfortable. I'm not saying that, being away from your family isn't hard, being away from certain comforts, putting yourself at risk. I get all that. And they know the NBA makes a lot of money. So they probably figure, look, you guys should be able to take a little better care of us than that. So that's something that, they always talk about how they love the commissioner and they got aligned to him. So like, holler at him on personally, or just through the Players Association, something. Yeah. And be like, y'all could do a little better than this, or can we do better than this? Can we help? Or can we help organize something to get better food in here in a way that's safe for everybody, where people could get some of these other food, but they're not putting the whole bubble at risk because they want to go, get Postmates or do this or do that, or they want to. So, I think the plan too does involve them getting chefs for teams and different things like that. So it's not going to be as bad. And, that initial thing, they were figuring it out too. And, so yeah, that I just wanted to say on that. So I understand both of y'all points to some extent. And I don't think y'all so far on a different spectrum either anyway. Yeah. I just feel like, I think those two elements too definitely play a factor into the way this whole thing is kind of going down.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, look, like Melly said, like, you opted in. I'm sorry, Mike, I have missed some of it because I was on the phone with Charity, but
no, that's fine.
Like, the whole thing is that if you know you came into this joint, you're going to do it. And Malik said it's going to be an ease. And the reason why they pack that type of food is simply because they're trying to keep people from touching the food. You see what happened in the Florida. Florida looks like it's going to be like the freaking second wave epicenter, right? So why would you want guys who are not staying in the bubble in Florida to come in and out, touching your food, preparing you some spaghetti and meatballs or whatever you want to eat, and some fettuccine Alfredo, and you eat in that joint, you get sick. So what they're trying to do is keep it at a minimum, right? They drop your food off, they run away, they do the thing like that, and that's it. You got the NBA announcers like the Malika Andrews, the freaking Candace Parkers, and everybody else who's doing the NBA stuff. They're there, and they making do of it, right? And also, I'm hearing the WNBA chicks, no disrespect to them, the women, they getting treated even worse. They don't even got that amenities.
Yo, you saw that laundry room?
I didn't even see the video,
with a mouse trap on the shelf.
You know what I'm saying? So imagine that, right? So that's what I'm saying. Because don't get me wrong, like, and I'm not disrespecting WNBA. Because I remember when they first came out, I watched it, and I watched a few seasons of their stuff. But because they don't make the money, they don't have that draw. The NBA is probably like, all right, we're gonna put them in, like, you know, where the staff go to work and chill, but we're gonna put the ballers in the Grand Floridian, you know, the other places around around the center. So to me, it's still some discrepancy there, and that's why the NBA is trying to do like media control as far as keeping things nice and tight and keeping it from looking bad, and also trying to be like, you know what, y'all chill out, we gonna fix it. And now, like Malik said with the owners, if I'm an owner, I'm taking care of my people. Like, I got them out here, so I want them to have the best food. If I'm the owner of the freaking Clippers, he just like one of the most richest people in the world. I should be having like freaking Gordon Ramsay up in there cooking for these cats in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Eat, you know what I'm saying? Because I went to a nice restaurant when we went out there in Animal Kingdom, and Taron, you know, you a Disney World regular, but when we went there, I went to the Animal Kingdom. We went to this South African restaurant that was there, had some nice gourmet steak. It was delicious. So they got good food there, and I understand that they're getting that food.
Listen here,
freaking packaged food that you get from meal prep.
I know, and their food is great. I don't know what's going on. It's just a little. It's remember, it's the beginning, so you have to understand it's the beginning. So they're a little. You got to get a little used to it. But I still think too that later on it's gonna get harder too. I think when they start playing, maybe it'll get a little easier when they start playing. Who knows? We'll see, so man. When they start, right now, they just.
Well, I know in the beginning when everybody first got there.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
You speaking? No, go ahead. I can't hear you. I'm listening to you.
I know in the beginning when the players first got there, they was saying like certain like the higher up teams like the Lakers, the Clippers, they will have better food, and like the lower teams will have like mediocre food. That like, get it.
I mean, that's kind of like they say, I give you scraps.
On Instagram, Kyle Kuzma,
they malnourished, so the Lakers have easy to ride.
The Lakers
Instagram when they first got there.
The Lakers
have like sushi,
have filet mignon and
sushi
and filet mignon, and the Memphis Grizzlies have box
chicken nuggets,
ramen noodles, so chicken wings, and
mad salt,
4 ways of
orange soda. Yo, Tom, remember when you in the party room, like them pitchers of soda they bring into their room, so they ain't getting a can of soda, so they're giving like the corny stuff. I mean, if it's like that, then I get it. But I mean,
that's what I heard in the beginning. I was reading that too. I was like, wow.
They did say that they're going to put the higher up teams in the better resorts, the ones that are closer to the area.
The Lakers are going to be drinking nice fine wine and everything, and the other players going to be drinking Smirnoff and you know with freaking 50-cent juices and stuff. You never,
DNC sodas.
Yeah, CNC soda. The Lakers gonna have Coke.
You know what it is about
Sprite.
it? A lot of these players, right? And like I said, money. We already know money rules this world right now. You know what I'm saying? That's what everybody does, right? So these cats got money. Like LeBron is a wine connoisseur. I'm pretty sure he bought a couple of bottles. Okay,
he ain't complaining.
Right? He ain't complaining, and that's why I respect some of the bigger guys. Like, you know, as far as the superstars, you don't really hear no James Harden complaining. You don't hear LeBron complaining.
You're not hearing James Harden complain because he just got there.
Yeah, but I'm saying that even so, right? Some of the guys, they just want to play. You know what I'm saying? They understand what's going on.
He strolled in there the other day. He just got there. Yeah,
LeBron is like the biggest voice. right? You don't see
Listen,
like
stu-
people like didn't Jimmy Butler get caught up? Yeah, he playing too much loud music for his workout. The country freaking Taylor Swift joint in his locker. I would complain on that too. You know what I'm saying? Too loud at night.
Who?
But other than
Who
that,
are you talking?
Jimmy
Jimmy
Butler, somebody
Butler,
called him Jimmy Butler because
No,
he was like
no, he was
he was dribbling the ball too
he was
loud.
dribbling the ball. He was dribbling the
Well,
ball
I
in the
think they were
hotel
saying
room.
Dame about to try to record music in there, so somebody probably gonna complain about him.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like
Dame
Dame
Dollar got to get.
Yeah, Dame Dolly got
You know what I'm
he got you know
Yeah, his
play them
music,
tracks or whatever.
So that's what I'm saying. So I
The
mean, like when
bars.
you look at the whole scheme of things, right? People make do with what they gotta make do of. And I'm not like I said, I know you and I, Tom, we have we pretty much at the same, place. It's just that where we divide in is that what I'm looking at is like if you made a commitment, it's like me committing to something, right? If I committed that I'm gonna go do this thing, right? I have to know going in that it's gonna be some hiccups and I'm gonna have to deal with it, right? If I commit to that, then I have to know that that's what it is. I can't really complain about it. Like when J.R. Smith, I actually watched like one or two of JaVale McGee's YouTube channels, like day 1 in the bubble, day 2 in the bubble. He showed when he was in his room and he went to the practice and he saw J.R. Smith in the hallway. And I don't even J.R. Smith had a mask on. They were talking to each other and then they went to the practice facility and they practicing in the ballroom and they show some of that stuff like that. That was cool, right? So I'm saying that I get it, but he making the best of it. And JaVale McGee, he came a long way in the NBA. He got asthma, he got a lot of stuff to deal with. And the man realized, look, it's about me winning the championship. So if I'm trying to win this chip, Kawhi got his braids braided. Like, he ain't even thinking about nothing. He worried about I got to win this chip. So I'm trying to say the star players, the big time players, the players who know that this is more important than what it is for me. Those are the guys that I respect because if you look at it, it's like the J.R. Smiths and like the little young kids who just want to have like that social media following, looking at it. Those are the ones being fooled and complaining. The people who are focused on winning, they ain't got nothing to say. They like, we here to win, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I respect about most of those players in the bubble situation because a lot of them are focusing on that and that alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I don't know if you guys got anything else, but man, I don't know. Did y'all hear anything about why Zion left? I know they said it's a family thing.
That was all I heard so far.
They said like
it's
Harold left. With a family
Harold
thing,
left.
so I'm hoping everybody's good.
It's private matter. I have no idea.
Probably went to get some food.
Right, home cooking.
I don't know.
I mean, but
I don't
that
know.
was good, man. I mean, if you have anything else to talk about, we can talk about it before we wrap up.
That's really what's going on in the world of sports right now. Anybody interested in the UFC fights tonight? I'm gonna be watching at 5 o'clock.
I'm gonna watch it. I don't really know those guys, but I'll check it out.
I'm watching everything because I'm new, so I'm trying to watch everything. So I'm just gonna keep learning more and more every week. They got a couple of weeks in a row with a bunch of fights going on, so I'm just gonna keep watching everything. Maybe I'll find a guy I like. I haven't really found like a favorite guy because John Jones always gets in trouble. It'd be him, but he's always in trouble or some controversy.
This is a fight night. UFC fight night today, or what is it?
Yeah, fight night.
Yeah, it's
Fight
one.
night.
Yeah, Fight Island.
Joseph Benavidez, Kelvin Gastelum.
Is the
Kelvin,
second
I
fight,
met. Not in meet him, but
Yeah,
when they had that fight in the Garden,
Mhm.
yeah, like I seen him walking by FIT. I said, wait, that looked like Kelvin Gastelum. I was walking to the train station. I ain't gonna like Kelvin. I ain't gonna do that like a clown. Right?
Yeah.
Working with him and his crew. I think this when he fought what's his face? Israel Adesanya. And I was like, oh snap. You know what I mean? And
I'm waiting to see him fight next. That do this.
oh,
Israel.
He might not fight until a while because I think they try to milk it until they get some fans. And what they're trying to do, I think they might have a new Tough series. So they're gonna have him as a coach and have Paulo Costa as a coach as well. So I don't know.
Okay.
That might be okay. But speaking of fans, real quick, before we get into the fights, the NFL, right? They try to open back up, right? They're not gonna quarantine 8 people. They're not gonna do a bubble situation, and they allowing them to have fans at the arena. Like I'm like, yo, even if they're not gonna be all the fans, it's like I don't care if it's like 10,000 fans and your arena hits 90. You shouldn't have nobody up in there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, nice get some nice seats.
Let me tell you how it's a little different with the NFL. Number one, it's impossible to do a bubble. 53 players for each team. You're gonna have thousands of players in a bubble.
That's before they do the cuts.
That's not even, that's after the cuts. That's actually after the cuts. The cut before the cuts is 75 per team. So it's impossible. Number one. Number two, the seating is not near the field, so you could get away with it, but you just can't have a capacity crowd. You could get away with fans at a football stadium because if you watch, you can see that they're not close up like basketball. Even baseball is not that close, but still.
So I have a question for you, right? So let's say you at the game, right? You got hell of these crazy seats, and you're not near the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go to the bathroom. That's what happened. Somebody drunk, and he's like, "Yo, what you got that freaking Redskins thing on? All that it's 49ers," and they come from their section that they supposed to be over, run all the way into your section, in your face with the field, right? Or they running in the field like, "I'm gonna show you how it's done." Christian McCaffrey. They got on the field. So now you got to have the security. Now you got to have the people in the bathroom. Now you got to worry about how you're going to exit. Now you got to worry about the tailgating. So to me, because I heard this when we was coming back home one time from a trip, and I was listening to it, and it was talking about it, and I'm like, yo, man, this is kind of OD. Because I'm like, yo, I get it. You want to have that experience. You want to play it. You want to bring some of that money in. The NFL trying to still keep some of that gate money in. Like, yo, I need the money in. It's outside, so it's ideal as far as having a crowd outside where you don't have to breathe the same air within a building. But it's like, what's the point? Then you have to sign a waiver. So, like, for instance, like you going to the game, you got to sign a waiver saying, like, yo, even if I get that Rona for being at the game, that's on you. You got, hey, you want these ill seats? You got to take the chance. You got to take the risk. So, to me, it's just kind of OD. I feel that, yes, don't get me wrong, I would like to see football too. But you got to get to the point where it's like, all right, you may not be able to have the fans in there. You got too many things going on. Then the players are not being quarantined. They get to still live their regular life and go to their restaurants, eat outside, and travel to go to the. I feel like the football season is going to be jeopardized, especially coming to winter months when the virus might have that second wave and start hitting harder. Because they're not going to be quarantining cats. They're going to be cats running up and around doing what they got to do. It's going to be way worse than basketball. So I think basketball, and I'm not being biased, I'm a basketball player and I'm a basketball fan. Basketball got it figured out where it's like, look, we got to keep this simple and let's do it. And the UFC too. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. That's. I really don't have anything else. I don't really have nothing else. Oh man, I was just laughing at something you said earlier, but yeah, it's true. It won't really work with the fans, but it I'm saying it won't work, but it could. But I get what you're saying with the.
I mean, in theory, it'll work. I mean, you have wait up. Cause think about it. Cowboys Stadium.
I just can't. I just kept trying to control myself from the whole. The guy with that Redskins hat on.
What you doing with that Redskins hat on, man? You know they put away that no more. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they do some crazy joint. Did they come up with a name? I mean, how else?
Not yet.
I kept laughing the whole time you was talking because you said that.
It's like my thing is like, you know, you could in theory you can have it, but it's like, don't get me wrong. Like if I didn't have to worry about certain things and it was not too crazy, I never been to a football game, and if I had the opportunity to get like, you know, the side like the 50-yard line, freaking like, you know, seats, and I can watch the game up close and then see them like for like 30 seconds, and they go in the corner for a little bit, like, you know, cause that's how every 30 seconds that's how the game. It looked like a lot of people.
I would never go to a football game because you can't. That's all you'll hear. It's just the crunching and all the Blue 80 and all that. I want to hear commentators talk. I want to hear the commentators talk and talk about what defense is being played and bubble screen plays and offensive plays and stuff. And
I do it. I went to every sport but that one, so I'll do at least one.
I need to. I would do it.
So I don't really have an interest in going to a football game. I've heard people say it's a good experience, but I want to hear people talking during the game.
I feel like that even with basketball, because, you know, don't get me wrong. Like, I watch basketball. We watch it. We can watch it live because we know what's going on. We can see the defenses because we kind of understand the game. Same thing with you with baseball. Yeah. You know the certain things in baseball, so you kind of like have an idea. Well, I went to a hockey game. I went to a basketball game many times. I went to baseball a few times. Football, I would like to try, but like you said, it's like.
Oh, I'm never going to a hockey game.
It was cold. It was cold. Charity got tickets for our school, but I'm just saying, like, going to the game itself, right? You go into the game. Mm-hmm. To me, I always liked it because every time even when I watch the basketball game, I'm like, Why don't hear that? Oh, I forgot. I'm not watching it. I don't hear like the Reggie Millers and them tackles like, "Mama, there goes that man, hand down, hand down." Like, so, I don't hear none of that. So you miss all of those things when you're watching it live. Oh, you hear the cat in the background like, "Yeah, you suck on defense, defense. Oh, come on, LeBron. Why would you gotta do that to me?" Like, all you hear is that. So my thing is that you get it. It's like a different thing. Even when I watch wrestling live, right? I went to the wrestling. It was cool, but it was like I'd rather hear like Jim Ross and them be talking and like, "Oh, Stone Cold," and like I'd rather see that. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying. Like especially with football, I'd rather know like he running this kind of coverage and he going up here. You see, he hit the slump here. He did a double move, and man, that boy's fat. I want to hear some of that too. But at the end of the day, I do want that experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I don't want to, prolong it. If y'all got anything else to say, we can say it. Or if you got another topic we talk about briefly, I can bring it up. If not, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much good.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
So as usual, I want to thank you guys for listening to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really appreciate the time.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to my cousins and my brother for coming through, and let's hope we make this a good Saturday conversation. You know what I mean? So as usual, my name is Mike.
Tyrone.
Bless, stay safe, and God bless.
All right, later.
Later.
Later.